This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast, where CEOs of small to global companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. Question number 1. In just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Ratcliff. I run and manage a family operation. It's a couple thousand acres in East Texas. Prior to this has not been a family operation for life. Prior to this, I worked on Wall Street and I quit my job to come back to the family ranch to make sure it's generational. We currently here raise a bunch of cattle that you can ship internationally. And we also have our own little feeding system, which we actually raise meat off of, and we sell it to consumers via retail and on a website and at many farmers markets. So we're in the chain from start to finish, from when they're born all the way to the retail store.
Outstanding. Question number 2, what's the best thing about being the CEO?
I think for me, especially since it's a family-run operation, it's the fulfillment of seeing the growth of where I came when I came from corporate. Because one thing I promised myself, for me, I didn't want to go to corporate. I wanted to make this family a corporate type setting of a ranch, especially being a minority. There's not many of us here with the opportunity to be an agricultural powerhouse in the whole dynamics of agriculture. So that was my real goal, was to do that. So just having that opportunity to take something from one generation, and I won't be here for the 100 generations, but having that opportunity to start something that can be generational for a lifetime. It's such an honor and a glory to be able to do that.
Excellent. Question number 3. I hear from other CEOs that leading their team and being able to see the road ahead can be a challenge. What are your thoughts?
I think for us, especially since fairly new to the size of operation we have here in agriculture, it's a challenge, but I think for us, the challenge number 1 for me is agriculture workers. I think the challenge is to have those complete agriculture workers, because agriculture is a different work ethic than anything else. And to keep those agriculture workers motivated and have esteem, one thing we take pride in is bring those kids along and make sure those kids have everything they need. Because I think when you make it a family setting, because agriculture is really about having that family setting, when you can make it that family setting whereby if they have a project at school that's agriculture related, we support it. We'll make sure that whatever funds they need, it's there for them to actually succeed in that project. So our key thing is to invest not only in our workers, but also in our workers' kids and our workers' family. And when you make that family dynamics, especially in a setting like this, because it can be long hours, sometimes they can be here way over 9 hours, they could be here 10 to 12 hours. So you got to make that family setting. And I think that's the key to success for us here at our operation.
Outstanding. Question number 4, what piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
For me, I think it's a shocker when people see me walk in the room, because I'm a woman and I'm a Black woman, and I've gone through school. When I quit my job in New York, I actually went and got my diploma in ranch management. And then I went and got another diploma in ranch and Texas leadership, in agriculture leadership. So both of those together, being a minority, being a woman, I think that's one thing I like to stress for other people that are in my situation, that is possible. Because I get that call all the time. As a woman in an industry where there's no one that looks like you, how do you accomplish what you're doing? What are the keys to being successful in an industry where I'm an outsider? And I think a lot of it is communication. For me, I listen to everyone that's an outsider, and then I give my opinion. I think when you allow them to talk first, and then you be like, okay, let me educate you on a little bit of something. I think that's the key, because I think a lot of times we want to talk first, and I don't think that's the solution. I think we just need to hear out everyone else first. And then once we hear them out, you can be like, can we sit down and can we talk about a couple things I've had in this conversation? And let me just tell you my viewpoints as I listen to you. So I think if I can do anything, is to just say, hey, let's listen first. before we throw in and say, hey, I'm not working with you. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Because I'll be honest, I wouldn't be working with anyone in this industry if I had that mindset. Right. As being a minority, I have to have a different mindset of listening first.
Indeed. Question number 5. What other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to acknowledge and this should be on my podcast?
Well, one person I'm actually thrilled about is the new CEO for Starbucks. I'm really follow women and especially minority women CEOs, just because I've noticed the struggle I've had coming into industry that, again, that doesn't look like me. And if anything, I need influence for people that are in similar situations. The other thing is I'm really into people that are ag-based because our demographic, because our situation of how the business is transferred over year to year is different than a regular business. We have heirs. I have brothers, I have sisters, I have other people that are going to end up having interest in this business. A lot of businesses, they have their own entity and it runs on its own. For us, it's a family entity. So I love to listen to those family entities on how they became 100 years old and they're still running. So there's a lot of family farms out here, or even family businesses that have not gone public and still a family business. So I've been researching, and there's small ranchers and farmers around here that I just researched, and I said, hey, can we just sit down and just learn from each other on how your business structure is and how you become generational and it doesn't fall apart? Because that's the number one thing that happens in agriculture. After 2 generations, it falls apart and no longer exists.
Right. All right.
So.
Wow. Understood.
Yes.
But you're being successful at it. Question number 6. The final question. How do you celebrate a win?
How do I celebrate a win?
Mm-hmm.
I probably internalize it more than I should, because I'm not. I feel like a win is very. It's great, but it's not just my win. You know, it's definitely a win for my workers. Because I'll be honest, I'm in the office right now. I sold a bunch of cattle this morning. I went in there and I pointed out the cattle we had to sell. My workers are the one that sorted it out. They loaded it on the trailer and they delivered it. All I did was point to what needed to be done.
Right.
And it's a success because we're selling for a high price in the normal market. But I wouldn't have been able to do it if they weren't like, yes, ma'am, yes, Miss Kim, what do you need done? So I can't do it even though I'm in this office and I'm on a couple like agriculture boards. And now that the Zoom thing is happening, everyone wants to do Zoom all the time, more often than normal. So I'm stuck in this office a lot doing calls and doing business stuff like taxes right now and other things, but I can't celebrate it. A lot of times the way I celebrate it with my workers is I process a cow for them. I raise it and I distribute it among my workers. I do cow, chicken, lamb, goats, all that. And I'll distribute it and say, hey, what do you want? You want 50 pounds? Let's stock up your freezer. That's the way I celebrate it with my workers because it's not just my celebration.
Sure. Well done. Well done. Kimberly, it's a pleasure having you on today.
Yes,
How can
indeed.
people find you?
Well, there's a couple places. If you're interested in our meat products, we sell all farm raised. Most of it is raised on our farm, but some of it is raised on farms that are similar looking to me because I try to support them as much as possible. You can go to farmtofreezermeat.com and you can actually order there, different meat packages, etc. I do sell cattle too. We sell a breed of cattle called Charbray, and those Charbrays are very popular internationally and domestically. We do embryos, semen, we sell embryos, we sell semen, we sell bulls, we sell heifers. You can also go to our website called CaneyCreekRanch.com, and you can actually look at some of our bulls and some of our stock there, and you can order and call me and see if you're interested in a bull or a heifer or anything along that line.
Very good. So. This is Earl Amin with the 2024 Site Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for the Gray Owl Company. Kimberly, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Did a good job.